Welcome, everyone. I'm Tim Runcie, and I'm excited to have a different conversation around some of the technology pieces that Microsoft has put together. Today, we're going to talk about tracking cross-project deliverables, essentially within Planner Premium. In fact, let me share my screen so we can kind of take a look at what's going on here and some of the key elements there. But in general, in the past, a lot of people who are working with Project Desktop, or they work with Project Online, or they work with Project Server, always have a need to have these interdependencies or perhaps key milestones or key summary tasks that kind of flow in from different project schedules. So let's talk about how we accomplish that with Planner Premium going forward today. So as we dig in here, of course, you guys know, if you've been to one of our webinars, we do this quite often, and it's really fun to help people optimize their productivity as they work through leveraging project program processes and tech together. I'm Tim Runcie again, as I mentioned. I will be your guided tour today, and so if you have any questions, I encourage people to reach out. Whereas you're kind of in your journey and you're putting these pieces together, this will be something that, again, I encourage people to let any one of our team know questions or additional videos that you want to see. Just let us know as we dig into this and even afterwards. So without further ado, let's talk about cross-project deliverable tracking, and then we'll dig in and get into a little bit of the key value propositions and then how it was accomplished. Some people are on different platforms. Some people are using Project Online. Some people are moving to a server environment. Some people are already on Planner Premium. And our focus is going to be to look at what Microsoft has done in the current technology stack. And again, we'll talk about portfolios and roadmaps, and of course, the ability of that cross-bridging together and why that works so well. So first off, let's get into the key goals of cross-project deliverables. So first off, if we think about this, cross-project deliverables is the ability to say, if I've got multiple dependencies, I want to see this in one view. Now, I'm not talking about linking tasks together, say from Planner, file 1 to Planner file 2. It's actually not really files, but these artifacts or these objects in the Dataverse that are connected together. The idea is that these get brought together. Well, in the desktop world, these dates, milestones, tasks, or summary tasks, organizations would kind of cross-link files together. And you had to be really careful, because if somebody changed a milestone that was dependent upon 4 other schedules, everybody's schedules were constantly changing. So this is what we want to look at, is how do we get a roadmap that's dynamically updated, but at the same time, let people not necessarily break their schedules or look at some of the key elements that go together. So again, whether you're building multiple stories or perhaps you have slices of your organization where you're looking at key deliverables that are aligned with a strategic goal or objective, or maybe you just have a portfolio within your department that you want to look at and you want to bring those together. All of these are very helpful in having a picture without having to hop across different project schedules. Of course, whether you're using Project Desktop or Project Online in the past, basically we accomplish this by doing what are called master schedules. Essentially, you take a Microsoft project file and you embed other files in there, and then you would link activities together. And what this did is it created a dynamic flow, or at least the ability to have this read-only view of that information. Now, essentially, you manually create these into something that's called a roadmap. But the idea is that these planner schedules are independent, they're easy to use, but you may want to take a portion of that and share what to executives or perhaps to other different stakeholders what's going on. And of course, if you have the deep, dark arts of Microsoft Project Desktop and you spend a lot of time there, this will seem like a snap. But for a lot of, we'll call it entry-level, mid-level, and some even advanced-level users in the Planner Premium world, they like the idea of low-code, no-code, where they aren't necessarily having to build reports or do advanced filtering or perhaps having schedules that are linked together that dynamically move. There's a lot of effort to care and feed for that and maintain it. So the idea, again, all of these deliverables, or we'll call things that we're going to bring into our roadmap, are subject to change based upon Microsoft's owning of the environment. Now remember, Microsoft is constantly working on improving the back end, some of the front ends, and in many cases there is a big push to get AI to be able to really seamlessly flow through the information that's there. So as we think about this, just pay attention. Microsoft is working hard to kind of make sure that these backends mature. And so whether we have like Planner, the free or what's called Planner Basic, which is in kind of its own environment. We have Planner Premium, which is in the Dataverse. And you have this ability to say, I'm mixing and matching different items together. Think about this. When at some point AI needs to crawl, it wants to crawl through some of that same environment, or at least in one particular area. So just be aware, Microsoft will continue to improve this. And again, they might move the roadmap to different places. They've made a few changes to this already, including the Viva Goals technology that used to come in. Microsoft has deprecated Viva Goals that said, hey, I could look at desktops, I could look at online, I could look at planner schedules, and I would bring that together. And part of that is this is found natively inside of the roadmap tool that comes with the planner licensing. So first off, in the past, we used to have that desktop approach, which was that master schedule. If you are using Power Apps to wrap around multiple schedules, this allows you to bring things together so you're headed the right direction. However, if we're thinking about that connected systems, about making sure that all of our Planner Premium schedules are combined, there's a little bit more effort that will need to happen. But at the same time, these planner schedules are really based upon you creating enterprise fields through the Power Platform or a Power App so that you can actually do the reporting or see these custom fields or custom resources flow together. Again, that's intentional by Microsoft. Some organizations out there have third-party Power App solutions. And when I say a solution, these are not little accelerators. They're not simple Power Apps. These are very robust Power App solutions, and they have multiple layers of technology. Some of these have been being built for 10 to 15 years, kind of in the running, but you can certainly go there, and some of them have these in native views. But in general, before you have to go and spend a lot of money or spend time creating these complex Power BI reports, or maybe you're not even ready to loop everything into a simple Power App or an accelerator, you can use that Planner Premium to just basically bring that stuff together. So let's dig in, and let me just kind of share it so you can see how this looks. So right now, I'm bringing my screen up here, and what you're going to see is that I'm in Planner, in the app in Teams. So again, remember, you can add this app. You certainly could work in the browser view, but in many cases, people find this to be pretty easy where they can expand or collapse kind of the menu of things that we're working with. And the idea is I'm looking at tasks that come from lots of different sources. Maybe they're private that I've created for myself, kind of in a Microsoft to-do environment. Maybe I'm going through Outlook and I'm flagging emails and I want to see some things roll in here, make sure that they're getting done. And of course, remember, we have tasks that can be assigned to you by lots of different plans, again, flowing into one area. And then when we start looking across all of our plans, you can look at the recent or shared, or I've got pinned, or I've got teams. There's a whole lot of things that you could be looking at in general, but this is the idea, is that many of these schedules have key details I want to bring together, and I want to share this. I want to share it with somebody who may not actually have a license for Planner, or I may want to pull that out, and I don't want to have to go build a Power BI report to do this, or make a Power Automate flow to extract data and drop it in somewhere else. So what we're going to do is take a look at this section right here called My Portfolios. And what's helpful about this is that you can go through and build a collection. In fact, that's the whole idea of one of these portfolios, is that when you have Planner Premium, you're actually in a position that you can begin to set up more advanced scheduling. So we talk about simple Planner Basic does not grant this for you. This is what comes with that Planner Premium license. So up here, I can also launch a new portfolio. Let me go into a couple that I've built here. So for example, I have this modernization portfolio. And right now I've only pulled in 2 plans, but I can actually add key dates where perhaps I want to put something in. So maybe I just say April tax day, and I want to have a due date. In fact, why don't I make that due date? I'll bump that out to 26. Going the wrong way. Whoops, there we go. And we'll just put it right on the 13th. And of course, I can set this to be on track if I'd like to, and I add a key date, and poof, there it is. shows right up. Very easy to add a top layer of key dates. So now I don't have to store necessarily these things here. In fact, you can tell that story of the overall timeline. And then, of course, the idea is that I can take this roadmap or these plans that I'm pulling together and say, you know what, if I want to look at these, I can add multiple initiatives together. So in this case, I've got a plan here. Why don't I add this oil and gas standard project? It's going to run out to that planner premium environment. It's going to take a look at it, double check to make sure I have permissions, that I'm not just pulling in something that I may not be able to have a security group for. In this case, it does. So at the bottom, it'll say connect. I'll go ahead and click on connect. And in a minute, it'll drop this right across the top here so I can begin to create a collection of what plans fall together. Now, at this level, once these drop in here, this portfolio, or like what we're looking at right now, is called the monetization portfolio. You'll add your planner premium schedules, and of course you can set the status here to be not started, at risk, off track, or maybe it's at risk. I'll flag this one. This one got put back on track, so it's on track, and I can flag these and let people know what it is. So at a glance, I actually have a collection that if I want to share right up here in the upper right-hand corner, I can actually create a security group, or what I can do is add it to an existing group, and that if anybody belongs in that group, they can see this. What's really important about this is remember that when AI is, in fact, we're in the age, at the beginning of the age of AI, and the idea of AI is I can look at connected systems, and the way that it's able to be blocked is that if you or the person who's running the agent doesn't have access to a security group, that information will not be exposed. So one of the basic layers is creating these security groups to make sure that you actually are protecting what kind of information is available, or what can be found, or what can be seen. Now, here, very simple, as I can add these. In fact, let me go back to my portfolios. If I'm going to take a look at my FY strategic planning portfolio, I have a series of initiatives added. And within every portfolio, let me kind of zoom here so you guys can see this. The second piece is called roadmap. Now remember, roadmap has been around quite a while. In fact, it's been part of the Planner Premium, or what used to be called Project for the Web. But this idea of having a roadmap where I can look at schedules from different places, it too has evolved, where it's not bringing in project desktop files, it's not looking at Planner Basic, essentially, or looking at Planner Premium only, or even going to Project Online. It's beginning to narrow its focus to the Planner Premium platform. So if I click on the roadmap, what it is a collection of all the schedules that I pulled in here. And then what I can do, for example, if I have that oil and gas standard project, is if I want to come in here, what I can do is I can update the items. I can refresh information that I want to put in here. I can also go through and add row items. So let me close this real quickly and I'll show you. Right here at the top, again, key dates, row items. You can obviously collapse the details, expand or collapse by clicking here, and then you can move the order, kind of reordering the layering that you want to see. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and add row details. I've selected the oil and gas standard project, and when I click on that, it allows me to run out to Planner Premium. Remember, this can have several thousand rows, so if you want to search or kind of narrow that down, it's easy to do that. But in this case, if I want to go through and select maybe some of the summary tasks, and then maybe I want to pull up a milestone, if I click on Update, what this will do is it'll drop that information in. There it is. Shows up right here where I can actually see those key dates in the timeline. So the idea is that I'm creating a collection of just the information I want to see from a collection of the Planner Premium schedules that I want to bring the details in. And again, whether it's a top level key date, or I can bring in the milestones, summary tasks, and subtasks, again, you can kind of zoom in and zoom out at the level of detail, as well as providing filters if you want to go ahead and clear or build a filter that allows you to see different information. But again, this is the idea, is that you can use roadmap real quickly through the portfolio piece in the Planner app itself to create a collection of milestones, tasks, key information, and then you can share that out with people who have the correct permissions or have been invited into the security group. So without having to build complex reporting or extract data and model it, or without having to link files and then suddenly things are moving around, this becomes a much easier way to manage. So let's sit back and let's take a look at some of the key things that we've talked about. Number one, using the native Planner Premium components, you can actually do this cross-project deliverables where you can bring these into a view and you can build those together. In fact, you can build as many of these portfolios as you need to show different slices, different pieces. You'll label those, bring the plans, pick the pieces, and then share that with the prospective stakeholders that need to see this. You can do this immediately. And of course, that whole idea of that low-tech approach is really exciting for beginning users or people that are trying to do that storytelling that may not have to go into using Project Plan 3 or Plan Desktop, right? The project schedule desktop to create a complex schedule of link things together through master projects. Again, as you update your plans, these automatically refresh and update. And it's helpful for people to be able to quickly tell that story, share and show that. You just have to think through what you want to put together and you put it in there. Again, of course, AI is sitting on the top of this or under the hood, if you will. And at some point, if you want to create a collection or if somebody wants to ask questions, as long as they belong to the correct security group, that information is discoverable. So whether you're thinking about moving in terms of governance or migrating your environment or working through here, you don't have to overthink how you use Planner or expand the Planner capabilities that you're working with. Again, I'm Tim Runcie from Advisicon, and if you have any questions, in fact, let me just leave up the information. We actually have a YouTube channel as well as we have a learning management system that you do get PDUs for this. So if that helps you, there are plenty of other videos. All of this is free. We like to help you guys kind of learn and take advantages as you go forward. All right. Well, hopefully this has been beneficial and helpful for you. Again, I'm Tim Runcie. Reach out anytime. Thanks.